I was finally initiated. I was an initiated guy. Should have been 2011, I think. Yes, I think it was 2011. Don't quote me on this exactly. According to my memory, it was 2011. I don't keep records on this shit. I'm not a bookkeeper. In everything I do, I go by memory. Why would I keep records? If somebody tells me you've done such and such thing exactly 5 years ago, I go like, okay, I believe you, no biggie. Why would anyone claim I did some shit exactly on November 11, 2002, for example, and lie about it? Yes, I done it. What is your point? Where is it that this shit is going? In other words, what is it that you are trying to say here? In any case, let's assume it was 2011. I'm not sure, but let us assume. The important thing is, I was initiated. Finally, I was an initiated guy. Yes, Sione was happy for me. Sione suggested I take that geometry course. Sione recommended Euclidean geometry. I said, why not? It was a good networking opportunity. Perhaps the lecturer would in fact hook me up with a good job. Sione said that would probably be the case, yet he did not vouch for it, because Sione was not interested in geometry. He knew what it was, but he said he was too old to adapt his thinking to a new framework. Sione got every course on a file. I did too. I had a USB drive, a personal invention of mine, and copied every course available, undergraduate and postgraduate. Sione did that too. Sione was doing it out of habit. That was Sione, meticulous. Sione went by the book in everything he did. I done it in the hope I'd have something good to read along the period of the next 5 to 10 years or so. In any case, I was finally an initiated guy, and I was fucking happy to the max. I was initiated. I finally understood Euclidean space. I understood what fucking Euclidean geometry was because I was initiated. I was happy to be initiated. You have no fucking idea how happy I was. Ninth cloud happy. Constructible universe happy. Being initiated was awesome. Being initiated was an awesome thing. I was an initiate. I was able to call myself an initiate. I finally had a name. I had a name for myself. There was a title for me. I could call myself something. Everybody in the lab was happy for me. Some of my lecturers were amazed. They were amazed I finally did get initiated. Being initiated was awesome. I loved it. I loved every fucking second of it. I enjoyed it very much. You've never tasted happiness until you were, in fact, initiated. So you could understand Euclidean geometry properly. That was true happiness. And I liked it. I liked it very much. I enjoyed happiness very much. Being initiated was good. I did struggle to understand, don't get me wrong. Euclidean geometry was notoriously hard. It was a hard topic in mathematics. Euclidean geometry, measure theory, functional analysis, and set theory, of course. The 4 pillars of mathematics, notoriously hard. Everybody knows Euclidean geometry is fucking hard. I personally remembered some concepts from primary school. Everybody that went to primary school knows how fucking hard Euclidean geometry can get. But I was happy. I was happy to be initiated finally, so I thought I'd speak to someone. Zarathustra wasn't there, so I thought I'd do a Samoan dishonor. So I spoke to Sione. Sione Paea looked at me. He gave me one of those looks. It meant he was proud. Sione was proud of me, and that was a good thing. And I was proud too. I was really fucking proud that Sione was proud of me. It was a good thing. My luck did finally change, and Sione was a witness to this. Sione was a witness. Sione witnessed the fact that I was an initiate. If anyone would have asked whether or not I was an initiate, Sione would have confirmed. If there were doubts, that is, if anybody would have doubted the fact that I was actually an initiate, perhaps some misunderstanding could have arisen. Perhaps someone would in fact ask. Perhaps people would in fact doubt. Sione would confirm. Sione would say that I was in fact an initiate. That's how much of a nice guy Sione was. Sione Paea's very presence in our lab was something like a game changer, to say the least. I cannot find my words properly, to be honest. I'll have to say game changer. I'll have to settle. I'll have to fucking settle for that word. Game changer. I mean, Amanda Cameron was still a Mormon when Sione was an established mathematician. When Sione learned that some square roots were in fact irrational, Amanda was still in primary school. Yes, Amanda used to be a Mormon. We had a Mormon girl with us, and that was a good thing. An ex-Mormon, to be precise, whatever that means, to be an ex-Mormon. My standpoint on this is that one cannot be an ex-Mormon. Once a Mormon, always a Mormon. Amanda was not comfortable with the level of homophobic attitude in the church. So she claimed she did quit the church in order to help homosexuals. Amanda Cameron was a nice girl. She was smart too. Imagine that. Imagine getting assignment help from a girl. Just imagine. Imagine. Later on, when I was to be assigned an office, I'd share the office with Amanda and Joel. There was an equilibria situation. I knew Amanda wanted me. I knew that. That much was obvious. Yet Joel Miller had his eyes on us. I knew Amanda wanted me bad, and that was obvious. Yet Joel Miller was there too. So what could I do? The situation was unconventional, to say the least. Sione was of the opinion Amanda was a good girl. I did care about what Sione thought. Sione's opinion mattered to most of us. When we had doubts, when things did not go as planned, we all turned to Sione. Sione was that shoulder to cry on, that ear to shout to, that hand one could shake, that trust one could share. Sione was sweet as. Personally, I was a little afraid of Amanda. I was afraid to share the same room with her, knowing she was a sister. You are not allowed to be in the same room with a sister. Sione corrected me. He said that as long as she'd been an ex-Mormon, everything was okay. Henry MacDonald was already in America by that time, so I thought I'd find someone else to discuss mathematics with, and that was Amanda. Sione was proud of me. I was doing Sione proud. Amanda was from Hamilton, if I'm not to be mistaken. Hamilton in Waikato. You know, Waikato, south of Auckland. I haven't said South Auckland, I said south of Auckland, okay? Auckland isn't the capital. Do not. I say do not think Auckland is the capital. Auckland is not capital. Why would you think Auckland was the capital? That's like saying The Hague is the capital of... Oh, never mind. Well, not quite, to be precise. This is like a notion of duality, I think. In any case, I'm always mistaking Waikato for Otago. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure why I'm always mistaking Hamilton for Dunedin. They're surely not one and the same thing. There's so much to explain. research and investigate on this one. Back to Amanda. I think Amanda was from Hamilton, from memory. This is because I've actually met some of her dear friends when I did become a Mormon 10 years later, or something like that. That's how much of an influence Amanda was in my life. Amanda influenced me a great deal, so much that I realized I was, in fact, a Mormon. I was always something like a hardcore Mormon. I think Amanda would like that. Amanda would like that very much, the fact that I am a hardcore Mormon. Amanda would in fact be flattered by this. I know Amanda well. I know a lot about Amanda Cameron, and I do know that much. Amanda would jump for joy knowing that I am in fact a Mormon, a hardcore Mormon. I remember when I first went to Hamilton, there's nothing like small town NZ. Small town NZ is like heaven. They don't accept people like us over there. People like us, people that weren't from NZ. This is because people over there have their own habits. Life is in fact quiet in small town NZ. In any case, people later told me about Amanda. Apparently Amanda was from a good family. The guy that gave me the baptism blessing in my ward claimed he knew her father, and that was a little bit weird. I haven't asked if they dated or anything like that. That's crossing the line a little bit, I'd say. Mormons do date. Mormons date in order to set a good standard for the future relationships. That's all. It is kind of like Christian dating. Mormons are Christians. War. It is very simple to think like that. Think about war. It's almost as if this is for simple-minded individuals. War, and everything that war entails. We've been through this for a long time now. Things aren't about war at all. Romans came to the British Isles a long time ago, but they couldn't get Boadicea alive. They didn't have much luck with the Germans either, not to speak about those Gauls. Now, if you're going to say the words cultural assimilation, that may bear closer resemblance to reality. At least that's what I think. Yet, things cannot be about the language we speak either. Language illustrates concepts, ideas, that is all. If I did have problems expressing myself in English, I'd probably borrow a French word. For real, I'm being plain and honest on this one. I don't really think I'd be crossing the line that bad if I did borrow a French word into English. Let us be entirely honest on this one. Everyone I know is fond of the opposite sex. I mean, every guy I know likes some female. Everyone. What I'm really saying is the exception set has measure 0 on this one. I'm not using the terminology correctly, but you know what I mean. Using this terminology correctly would be to show that the cardinality of the integers divided by the cardinality of the reals is actually vanishing, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But you get the gist. You know what it is meant. What it is meant here is entirely plain. What it is meant here is that every single male friend that I ever had a crush on a female at some stage or another of our friendship. And if we reason inductively, one can make a leap of faith and say that the same applies to females too. A small leap of faith. Yet there's stuff I never did comprehend about humans, to be entirely honest. Example, calling a female a slut. That would certainly not get a guy very far. Now would it? Would it? I want you to think about this matter carefully. I want you to ponder real heavy on this issue and then come up with the answer. And you shall instantly get illuminated on this fact. You shall see I am entirely correct. I mean, you could in fact object. You may be able to bring forth some sort of typhoid Mary kind of objection. And that objection has some a priori weight, yet plain empirical evidence dismisses this fact. Typhoid Mary is like the Loch Ness Monster. Everyone talks about it. Everybody seems to be fucking scared, yet not many can in fact draw the shape and size of this mythical creature. So don't give me any shit on this matter. It is true that everyone's a sucker for an educated female. That much is true. We're all suckers for geishas, aren't we? Everyone I know likes a geisha. Damn these Japanese. How is it possible to get it right in everything? Yet, one could in fact blame a female if she has a compulsive habit of, say, cause misunderstandings between guys. Things like this do happen sometimes, and provided they are done in an intentional manner, they may be in fact a symptom of a bad character. This sounds a lot like a Vika type of shit, and it is more common than one would expect. Yes, you heard me right. Vika type of shit. What on earth are you talking about, you'll say? And I say, open the good book on the Proverbs section and read from there. Or dwell for a while on the stories in the Scheherazade, and eventually you'll get yourself updated. In any case, point being, Sione was always silent on these things. When Sione was around, one would just have to work, I guess. Do their job to the highest seen degree of perfection. Sione was a lot like that, a true perfectionist. Anything but perfection wasn't good enough around Sione Paea. And this was, for Sione, a way of paying respect to his father mostly. It was a way of copying his father's parenting style and applying it in turn to the next generation. This fact is, to myself, a very touching thing. Very emotional, to say the least. When I think about this, I am unable to stand still. And that is a huge understatement.